okay, Craig, the Lions are a completely different team over these
Totally.
last 5, 6 weeks. And so we want to share 3 reasons why we think this is. We may have more, but our 3 reasons, and we'll start with
Always
this
more.
one. We can start. This isn't in any order because it's all very important. But the first one, the defense is completely settled down. We were trying to do too much. We were trying to do the double A gap blitzes and all this. And now we just, when push comes to shove, we play man, we rush four.
Yep.
And if you can beat us, great. We got Kirby Joseph in the back trying to ball hawk it, play deep. We're not going to give up a huge play. And it's so nice. It's so nice on everybody. How nice is it to, you don't have to get all weird. You just say, let's man up and let's play. And that has
Mm-hmm.
been such a big difference for us defensively.
Yeah, and I think one thing you have to admit, as much as I hate doing it, letting Pleasant go as the defensive backs coach, there has been a noticeable difference. I mean, we're giving up well over 30 points a game. And then since we've let him go, we're right around like 21 points a game.
Mm.
That's a huge difference. And I don't know if it's just that people weren't on the same page or what that looks like. And even though we'll give up a play here, we'll give up a play there, we'll bend. We don't feel like we don't feel like I don't feel like the defense is breaking. And number two, I feel like we're putting ourselves as a defense, we're being more sound in our gaps. We're being more sound in our scheme. So therefore, we're not consistently giving up big plays and big drives. Like, all
Yep.
right, yeah, you might get 20 yards, but then you're stopped. Or, you know, it used to be like if you don't get a 3-and-out, our defense is giving up a score.
Yep.
And that's what it felt like. And now it just seems like everybody's on the same page and we can stop a drive at any moment, whether it's a sack, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a turnover on downs, whatever.
Absolutely. And I get it because in a zone, right, we're younger, we're not
Mm-hmm.
as good. So it's like, all right, you're passing a guy off and the safety gets confused and it's one confused play and it's a bomb and touchdown. And this is like,
Yeah.
you're sticking to your guy, who you have. And yeah, it just feels like Aaron Glenn tried to be so creative and prove that he was this defensive mind. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, and it just kind of, even the linebackers, I've got the running back. You don't have to think, all right, crossing, all right, deep. It just looks so much better. And like you said, you can get a stop now. Before, boy, if we didn't just get right off the field,
Oh.
get ready and hold on, we're going down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And even Aaron Glenn said he was sad when Pleasant was gone, but there's a difference.
Uh-huh.
It's one mind. And maybe Pleasant was doing good things and it just was different than what Aaron Glenn was on board with.
Yes.
And but all I know is it feels like there's not, how do I want to put it? Before it felt like there was a straight weakness and it was the passing game. Now it feels like every level is pretty solid and contributing to helping the others, if that makes
100%.
sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. The next
Yeah.
one that is been huge is injuries. We're finally getting
Oh,
healthy for the first
finally.
time in a year and a half. Remember, all last year was
Year and a
COVID and
half.
injuries. That
Yes.
was just brutal, and we weren't that
Mhm.
good. And this year we've added guys. So you've got guys like Jerry Jacobs, who's just really a difference maker. Okuda is back from
Yeah.
last year. Kaminsky, a guy like that went out for a few weeks with a hand. I mean, he gets push and our receivers and our O line. So injuries for you, is that as big of a deal as I think it is, or where are you at with injuries?
Bigger. I
Yeah.
think it's bigger. I really do. And it's not just the guys like Jacobs coming back. And by the way, Okwara, it was nice to see him
Oh
for a few
yeah.
snaps this last game.
Yep.
But like, it's not just those guys and Okuda. It's also our wide receiving core is fully healthy. And our offensive line outside of one is perfect. 4 out of 5 are healthy. And the running backs are healthy, even though I think Jamal Williams hurt himself on one of the first plays. You could tell. But anyways, like, to have a full complement of players. And people always say it's the NFL. Every team's injured. Okay. Okay. I get that. But until this last month, every time we'd go into a game, we had more key players out than the team that we were playing.
Every time.
Every time. And now either it's similar or they have more. And guess what? We're winning. And I know it's also because we're clicking, but it's a lot easier to click when you're playing with the same guys each week.
Oh,
And so,
100%.
yes, injuries to me are massive. And even though nobody watches the videos that we do and we just say, oh, injuries, because nobody wants to listen to it, like whether you like it or not, it's a big part of the game.
It is. It's 100%. And like Jerry Jacobs is a perfect example. Once he comes back, we're able to play a little bit more man up, and we just talked about
Yeah.
that. He's a physical big corner. I mean, it matters big time, and we have been completely injured. So, the next one,
Or
Dan.
Warrior out there just giving people 10 yards no matter where they go. Sorry.
Oh,
Anyways, he
geez.
was
Well,
bad again, by the way.
yeah, and you wonder, wait, where's he been? You'll see him out there, and you're like, hey, and it's like, oh, that's why you aren't
That's why.
playing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
The next one
Thank you.
feels like Dan Campbell has really found his groove as a
Yeah.
coach. He wants to be aggressive. He wants to take chances. He wants to go for it. All that I get, but he was in a wrong place there in our losing streak. We were
Mhm.
behind. It just didn't. Nothing was good. There was no. It wasn't smooth. Now, hey, we're ahead, so now we can be aggressive. There's just a better feel. I feel like he has a better feel for the game. So it's like, we don't want you to lose your aggressiveness, Dan. But boy, early in the season when he was doing it, it just felt forced. It felt like, I got to prove I'm Mr. Aggressive. Now it just goes within the game, and it feels so much better.
Yeah, and it felt like he was so into both the offense and defense that it's almost like he didn't have the capacity or the time to do his job as
Mhm.
the head coach and just manage a good game, manage the
Yeah.
clock, manage your timeouts, situational football. And in the last couple of games, the situational football has been a ton better. Against the Bills, he had another major faux pas, but since then, it's been a lot better. And I think it's because he's stepping into a groove. And you'll say Dan Campbell has figured it out. He's found his groove. I'll say he found his because Ben Johnson did and Aaron Glenn did.
Yeah.
So when you have an offensive coordinator that has the offense humming, you have a defensive coordinator that, for its level of skill, I would say has the defense humming, right? Like firing on all cylinders.
Oh,
Then as a
100%.
head coach, you can trust those guys and you just get to be a head coach. You get to be that motivator, that organizer, that game manager as a head coach. That is what you should be. And I think Dan Coach, being just a second year head coach, it was a little too much for him. I'm not saying in a year or 2 or 3 like it will be, but I think it was just a little bit too much for him. Like, he was calling plays last year, right? And he was managing, staying heavily involved in the offense and stuff like that. You'll see that he has the play sheet with him. But the last couple of times it spent more time hanging down by his leg than it did up in front of his face
Mhm.
because he's trusting what his coordinators are doing. It's that
Yes.
simple.
And, it really turned when at the winning streak, when we are, playing well, when we a few times we punted when we should have punted, and we took
Yes.
field goals
Kicked a
when we
field
should have.
goal when we should have.
Oh, and it was like, just play the game the right way. And
Mhm.
then when you do a fake punt like we did this week, nobody saw that coming. I mean, nobody. And it's like, that is how it's done, and that is special. But when you're forcing it and it doesn't
You're
work,
forcing it.
man,
And
it's
you're
bad.
forcing it because you don't trust one thing or another. I mean, how
Yeah.
about Badgley comes out, misses a 47-yarder, and then at the end of the game, he's got what, a 49-yarder, and Campbell's like, "Get back out there," and it's just like, "Thank you, thank
Mhm.
you for trusting him to make that kick." I mean,
Yep.
like, I'm okay with that. We're in a dome. He had made 12 straight over 40 before he missed the one from 47. He's been shockingly good, by the way,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, like, shockingly good. And then just those are the little things. And then because he's not going for it every other time on fourth down, you can get away with going for it on a fourth down when you should have punted. And CJ Moore runs for like 40 yards. Like, those
Oh.
are the plays that when you're not doing them consistently and you're playing the way you're supposed to be playing, it's a surprise and it works.
Oh,
Thank you.
and CJ Moore, what a great run. I mean, that didn't I was like,
Yeah.
this is not gonna work. And he
Oh,
cuts it up.
he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. Oh, he
No.
got it.
Oh, he's got it. Go, baby. Oh, man.
Go,
So,
go,
and then the
go,
guy that
go.
got the personal foul on that play, I've never seen in my life. Do you?
Yeah, not a clue who that was. In fact, they're like, "That's 33," and they said whatever his name was, and I was like, "That's Juju Hughes. Shut your mouth."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh no, it is Washington or whoever they said it was." I'm like, "Well, I hope you had fun on the team because you're
Well,
cut.
you're gone. Yep. Your first play as on the Lions, and you did that. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
just
So,
talking crap, even though you had nothing to do with it."
oh my gosh, man. And I just, yeah. So that was, I just,
Ooh,
it's crazy how everything is really coming together. And but your
yeah, I
point on the
was.
kicker is
Oh,
a
okay.
great one. I mean, unbelievable. We struggle. It's just funny how football is. Yeah, when you struggle kicking and you miss, and
Hmm.
now he settled that down. And yes, he did miss, but like you said, hey, analytics or whatever you want to call it. This is a makeable kick for my kicker. I have to send him out there, kick it, play the game right. He makes it. We're up 2 scores. Game over.
By the way, we saw the Vikings go for it more in this game, didn't we?
Oh,
And do you think
yep.
maybe when we were 1-6 and we're going for it all the time, 4th downs, desperation, do you think maybe that's just what coaches do when they're in a desperate time? They get desperate.
Exactly.
And it's just, I hope we've learned, like, no, we're good enough that we don't have to be desperate at any point in the game.
No.
Just play the game, trust your team, and if the other team is better than you that given Sunday, let them be better than you. Like, but
don't just hand them.
Don't
You're
just
so right. You're so right. Look at the Vikings. They have the biggest play of the game. They try to do a pass, which would have been wide open, but it just isn't executed, and they fumble the running back pass. And why are you getting cutesy down there with a trick play? I know it's weird, man. I've learned a lot about just play the game right, play the long game, and trust your team, because you get goofy and it's hard to overcome.
You get goofy and it gets goofy.
Goofy out
Your
there.
record gets goofed up too.
Oh, baby.
Oh man, they do.
So,
what isn't this a fun time to be a Lions fan?
It's
seriously.
It's the weirdest time of my life to be like, we're good. I think we're good. Start off the season. Oh, actually, we're terrible. Wow, Dan Campbell was so full of crap, all that stuff, and it's like, oh, I'm back. A ride of emotions because we actually are well coached, physical. We've got talent. Goff's playing all the stuff that you thought, well, we could do it. It actually is coming true. It's pretty crazy.
Hey, I got a question for you in another video. People can think about it too. Are we starting to get so good that it's scaring you? Like scaring you as in, is Ben Johnson going to be gone? Is Aaron Glenn going to be gone? Like, are you starting to get scared? Do you trust Dan Campbell enough to find coordinators that can seamlessly? Because my nightmare situation is we lose a coordinator or two and we have a slow start to next year because we're replacing coordinators. It's terrifying. Terrifying.
Oh, yeah. We enjoy this ride. Let's enjoy this ride.
Enjoy the ride.
4 games left.
4 more.
And
it's a 4-game season.
Craig, we're in the playoffs now. The playoffs have started for us, and
they started 2 weeks ago.
Right, we can't lose. Starting now, we can't lose, and we'll see what happens. Oh man! So let us know in the comments your thoughts on this, and what else has changed in your mind for the Lions and why they're playing so well. And we will see all of you on the next one.